Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are ready to go on our first orbital flight on the Hopper 3. This is of course not our overall first orbital flight, but the Hopper 3 will definitely be targeting orbit. So let's go ahead and launch this thing. We're looking to get a huge amount of science out of this, and that should be exceptionally useful. In theory. We'll see what science we actually end up getting, but we should get a lot of science out of it. I'm planning to do at least one full orbit here, and this flight is going to be pretty lengthy indeed. So we're going to go ahead and turn SAS on, and up we go. Very slow off the pad. We knew that was going to be the case. The swivel engine that we've got here is a little bit underpowered for this amount of weight. But all we really need is to get into the upper atmosphere here. We should be capable of doing so. In theory, we can't really add more fuel to this stage without pulling it from the second stage. I want to feel out exactly how far we get here, because this engine is far more efficient. If we can get up with this engine, that would be absolutely great. We have already burned off quite a lot of fuel, and we're not going very speedily. Our thrust to weight is quite low. So that is something that we may have to work on. We've got about 70 seconds of burn left here. And that's certainly not very much. We're going to try to get a little bit of horizontal speed going here, but we don't need to get too much going just yet. We're just going to park around here for right now. We've definitely picked up a bit of a shimmy there. Okay. I mean, we've definitely got some height to this rocket at this point, but we can just head on over here. We've only got about 900 meters per second left. This first stage is definitely underpowered. There's no doubt about that. Okay, so we'll just see how this goes. Oh, we've drifted a little bit off of our heading. Oh, hello. We're wanting to get some tumbling going here. Let's see about not letting that happen. Cool. Okay, we are nearly already out of fuel for our first stage, and we've definitely got some issues with this rocket. Okay, we're tumbling, and there's not a lot we can do about that. Cool. So we're just going to park at prograde. We got our nice flip out of the way there. We don't have aerodynamic control surfaces at this point, so that's not hugely surprising, but that tumble is not great for our overall speed here. You can see that our apoapsis is not ideal, but we'll just go ahead and, ooh, that's some exciting stuff right there. Exciting indeed. Okay, let's head around to prograde if we can. Yeah, we should probably abort this flight. So we're going to grab our mystery goo observation and our materials study and call this good. We'll see if we can bring the rest of this back fairly intact, and I definitely should do something like that. We'll grab our materials study. There we go. And we're just going to try to hang out retrograde for right now. We should be able to land the rest of this. I don't think that'll be a problem. Let's go ahead and fire up this engine. Yeah, it should be absolutely fine. We've got 109 seconds of burn here, but we definitely have an underpowered first stage. That's not hugely surprising to me. So we will definitely look into doing something about that. Let's go ahead and drop our parachutes right now. And this will be absolutely fine. We did head up and grab ourselves some decent science, so that'll be good. We're going to physics warp until our parachutes open here. And we'll see what our landing speed is going to look like. I don't know if we're going to need a powered landing here or not. We'll see. Okay, there's our drogues. Looking good. And our main. Okay, yeah, that looks absolutely fine. We technically don't need a powered landing. I'm still going to do one. So we're going to drop down to about 100 meters above the surface. Like that. And we're just going to decelerate a little bit with our engines here. We're not going to be able to fully counteract this, of course, but we'll just splash down at a much lower speed. So that way, our engine has no chance of going away. Okay, so at this point, we should have Bob EVA. And he is going to let go, and he's going to just be in the water. There you go, Bob. Excellent. Physics Kraken going a little nuts here. absolutely going nuts. Let's swap over. No, I don't want a physics warp. I want to swap. There we go. Turn that SAS off, please. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to swap back. Much better. And we're going to go ahead and reset. Actually, we need to collect this data. So we'll go ahead and do so. Collect that data. We'll reset the materials study. And we're going to open up the service bay here. And we're going to need to do the same with the mystery goo, which is in here somewhere. I think. Yes, there it is. Okay. Can I please get that? Thank you. Maybe. We need to collect that data. Yes, remove that data, and then we'll restore the mystery goo containment unit. Excellent. And now we'll see if we can get onto the rocket again. We may have to rescue him separately. Actually, no, we're good. Cool. So we're going to go ahead and board. There we go. And we can grab our... Did the mystery goo not reset? I told it to reset there. But we can grab our materials study. That's absolutely fine. We'll keep that. And we'll collect everything up here. And I guess we'll have Bob EVA again. We'll need to let go again. And swim on over. There we go. Fantastic. So yeah, that first stage is definitely wildly underpowered. And it looks like that restore just didn't happen. Okay. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll swap on over. We'll grab our mystery goo observation. And our materials study. Excellent. And we will collect what we can here. Not everything could be collected, so we're going to collect data manually from the Science Junior. Restore that again. And then we're going to head on over here. The seas are definitely a little rough, but we'll get the media restored for the mystery goo containment unit, and we will go ahead and grab additional readings here. Grab that materials study. Now we can't run the materials study again because we have nowhere to put the data. But what we can do... Wait, can we grab from here? Let's see. Collect data. Yes, remove that data. Perfect. We'll restore the mystery goo containment unit, and we'll grab that data one more time. We have nowhere else to put that data, so we will simply recover this vessel, and we're going to recover Bob separately. Because I don't want to put him into the capsule. We already have data there. So we don't want to dump any of our data. So that'll be fine. But yeah, that first stage is definitely underpowered for our second stage. There we go. Jeb has been recovered. And now we're going to need to recover Bob separately. So we'll just go ahead and recover him. He is a vessel. Perfect. Okay. So... we don't actually need the X-Science window open here. That's fine. Okay, so we need to address the elephant in the room here, which is absolutely the power of that first stage. It is not powerful enough. So, what do we want to do about that? Another thing that we could definitely do is grab winglets. That would also give us access to radial decouplers. That's only a lifting surface. That's not a control surface. Okay. I mean, we could deal with that. That's not a big deal. Yeah, we'd have to come out over into aviation. So let's grab stability for right now. That's going to be helpful for us. We could also grab aviation. So we can research that, and we'll leave that facility and head into the VAB. Eventually, we're going to need an upgrade to the VAB. We are currently at 24 out of 30 parts. Okay. We should actually check for a halfway decent contract. Our current contract is a flyby of the moon, and that is something that we want to do eventually, but we don't really have the tech to pull that off right now. I think overall, none of these are things that we're really too interested in doing. So we'll hop into the VAB and see about getting an upgrade. We'll call it like a block 2. Not block at. Block 2 upgrade to the Hopper 3. Okay, so what are we going to do here? We need to boost the power of this stage. This first stage just doesn't have enough oomph to get us where we need it to go. That's okay. We do have access to radial decouplers now, so we could easily put in, let's see, either of these would probably be fine. This one will do for now. We'll put in just a pair of radial decouplers here. And what do we want to put in? We could put in thumpers. Those are probably fairly expensive. No, that's not bad at all. And we could change the position of them here, which would be something we definitely want to do. Something along the lines of that. We would like to have an aerodynamic nose cone on the top of them. Sure. That should do. And of course, we're going to need to strut that. So we don't have access to struts. Yikes. That's a yikes. A solid yikes there. No access to struts, huh? I definitely expected that we'd have struts. What do we need for that? Let's hop over to R&D. I don't think we can immediately grab it. That's in general construction. Okay, so we'd need 45 science for that. In that case, we absolutely cannot get away with thumpers. They're out of here. We need struts for that. We could definitely put in hammers. That wouldn't be the worst of concepts. So we'd put that in like that, approximately. What would that thrust to weight be? Pretty decent. The other thing that we could do is do liquid fueled. Liquid fueled will result in a lot more parts. We're already overweight on our mass. Yeah, solid fuel is very heavy. That's for sure. I mean, if we were to put in T400s here, that would also put us overweight. These would be very minimal liquid fueled staged, and I don't think that's a great concept. What do we need to upgrade to up our mass? Is that the launch pad? I believe that's the pad itself, not the VAP. That cost would be 50,000. Done. Okay, so that's complete. Excellent. So we'll hop back in here, and we're going to use SRBs, for sure. So hammer SRBs would be fine. Those will go right here. That will add quite a lot of initial power to this first stage. The question is, what exactly is this thrust to weight? This is claiming 1.08. I don't think that that's accurate. That's because of this decoupling. Okay, so it would be like that, 2.5. So that's more than we need. We can thrust limit these down to be 1.62. That's still pretty good. What about 33% thrust? Like 1/3 thrust. That's solid, actually. So that's good thrust to weight. What about the actual lifting capacity, the delta V of this? That's about 2 kilometers per second. I mean, we need a little more than that, really, but that probably gets us about to where we need to go. Yeah, I think that'll do the trick. We can combine these stages together. And this is, yeah, that decouple. We don't really care about that decouple. We're going to put that decouple up top, and we're going to put our drogue chutes in here. Okay, this seems better. We're going to have some aerodynamics issues here, but by the time these burn out, I am expecting that we're not going to have much for aerodynamics at that point because our speed isn't going to be that high. What's the burn time on these at 33.5, I wonder? 71 seconds? Okay. Well, we might have sufficient speed. Now, we should also consider, and we only have 2 parts available, we should consider that we need some sort of steering surface on this. We can put in, like, Delta Deluxe winglets, or even, like... I mean, Delta Deluxe winglets are kind of better, but we could put in, like, AVR8 winglets right here. We'd need to look at our center of lift versus center of mass, and we'll just go ahead and do our center of mass and our aerodynamic overlay. Okay, so we can see here that when these pop off, we should be okay. Okay, sounds good. We're going to go ahead and launch this and see how this goes. This will definitely boost the power of that initial stage. And this is just because our second stage is pretty heavy, right? And I want it to be that way deliberately. We'll get to the reasons for that a little later on. We'll throttle up, SAS on. I'm slightly concerned about the decouple here, but I guess we'll see how it goes. So off the pad, not bad. Not bad at all. Excellent. So we're going to be burned out in about a minute here. And we're just going to immediately start heading over this way. We were drifting the other direction, which is not exactly what we'd like. It's definitely pulling over towards the west here. I'm wondering why exactly it's doing that. It's coming far off of the heading, too. This is not very stable, but I'm not actually shocked about that because of the current mass ratio. Like mass to aerodynamic lifting. So once our SRBs pop off, things should improve in terms of maneuverability here. Let's see how that feels here in 10 seconds. We're definitely moving a lot faster than we were at this stage previously. Apoapsis of about 20 kilometers. Okay, there goes the SRBs, and we get this under control. It's definitely a little bit more maneuverable, but it's not hugely more maneuverable. Okay. Yeah, this is definitely a little on the dicey side. We're going to grab a mystery goo observation and a materials study here. We're in flying high, so that's fine. We'll keep both of those for the moment. Okay. We only have 14 seconds of burn left. That's okay. What we're mostly looking for here is altitude. And we're at about 48 kilometers. Okay. 58. That's not that bad. We're going to be targeting the horizon over here. Boy, that's really pulling. Okay. Now it's getting under control. Good. So we're only at about 60 kilometers of altitude, but we're looking at getting horizontal speed right now. So, I mean, we have a lot of delta V left here, as long as we have the burn time, which we absolutely do. We're completely fine on that front. So we're just going to get horizontal speed here until we hit the desired apoapsis height, which will be about 75 kilometers again. So this appears to be working fine. It's not perfect, but given our tech level, that's not surprising. We'll be able to perfect this design much more later on. Okay. We need a lot more horizontal speed here. And we're at about 65 kilometers apoapsis height. We want about 10 more kilometers altitude here, but we're mostly working on getting that via our horizontal speed. We've got 30 seconds of burn left here. Honestly, maybe we should target like 71 kilometers. That might not be a bad idea. Okay. I mean, time to apoapsis is increasing. So this is good. This technically means that we're a little bit off on our timing. And that's just over 70 kilometers there. Okay. So let's go ahead and make a node here. And we'll just push that out to be about like that. Well, our delta V, a lot of it is wasted by burning in the atmosphere like this. Let's see what our delta V actually pops to once we get out of Atmo. So we'll just go forward here. If this is suborbital, that's okay. We still, like I said, have some weakness in that first stage to work out. Well, that's a lot better, for sure. Okay, well, we're just going to go ahead and get a little bit of burn going on here. Right about now. And this is not quite going to put us into orbit. Like I said, this all has to do with the weakness of our first stage. But we are going to be on a pretty shallow return trajectory. We're very close to being in orbit, but we just don't quite have what we need. That's okay. So we're going to ditch this stage, and we're going to flip around to retrograde. Cool. Now we're going to have Bob EVA here. And he is going to grab an EVA report. He is going to climb on down here. Actually, he needs to let go. And we'll turn on his RCS. We're just going to hop over this way a little bit. There we go. And we're going to collect this data. And we're going to restore. We're going to open the service bay here. And we're going to do the same thing. We'll need to go up a bit. Oh, we are in Atmo. That was a lot faster than I expected. Okay. We're going to collect this data. We're going to restore. And we need to get back in, like, now. Okay. Climb up. And board. I was definitely not expecting to be back in Atmo quite that quickly, but it's okay. So we get some flying high data here as well. There we go. Yes, we really should get back into the ship. There we go. We got our EVA report from flying high as well. That's a difficult one to get. So yeah, we've definitely still got a problem with the power of that first stage. And we will need to deal with that. This re-entry profile is honestly exceedingly shallow. Like, to the point where this is going to take a while. We're going to turn time warp up. And we should see no real problem with this re-entry. This should be fine. We are going to get a decent amount of science from this flight, but I was hoping to get a little bit further. Yeah, our first spacewalk happened. That's definitely a good thing. So we definitely need to power up that first stage even further. One way that we can do that is replacing those hammers with thumpers. That would definitely go a long ways. In fact, if we did that, we could fire exclusively SRBs. We would have to steer, though, and that could be a little complicated. I'm not sure how exactly we'd go about doing that with the tech that we have right now, because we're very limited on the amount of aerodynamic control surfaces that we can have with this current design. So that's definitely a bit of a problem. We'll just close these doors. And I guess we'll collect everything that we can up here. Not all items could be stored. That's to be expected. Hello, son. And down we go. Our blade of heat shield is ablating, but that's okay. That's exactly what it's designed to do. And we are currently slowing down, so that's pretty great. Now, we probably want to be in surface mode right now, so we'll swap on over to that. We are just locked to retrograde. And electric charge-wise, we're doing absolutely fine. No problem whatsoever there. We are seeing some heating effects coming in. That seems okay. We're slowing down nicely. I mean, it's almost like this is designed to aerobrake or something, but we're definitely slowing down well. We're not going to have any real problems here whatsoever. As things start to get a little hairier during this re-entry, we may want to back off on the physics warp. Things can go a little weird with physics warp in this scenario. But for now, we're just going to hold here until we slow down a bit. And yeah, that power level of that first stage absolutely needs to be addressed, and that's certainly something that's going to happen. If we can get into space with basically our entire second stage, we can probably get away with a moon flyby with this rocket. And that's kind of the goal here. So we need to power up that first stage, and that's definitely something that can be done. So we are slowing down nicely here. We're down to about 1.2 kilometers per second. And we're 25 kilometers above sea level. Are we over... No, we're actually not over water here. We're going to be doing a land landing, which does mean we're going to get some new science out of it. Cool. We're going to go ahead and physics warp here. SAS can come off now. We can drop our drogue chutes, and so we shall. We'll grab a crew report, a temperature scan, and we're flying low right now, but we'll collect all that data. Cool. We'll drop our main chute, and we're continuing to slow down a bit here. We will grab that EVA report as soon as our parachutes deploy. Okay, there's our drogues. And our main will be shortly here, right now. Okay, so our main has deployed. We are down to moving at about 10 meters per second, 9 meters per second. Bob is going to EVA, and he's going to grab that EVA report. There we go. And now we will physics warp down to the ground. going to be a little bit hilly here, and there might be some rolling involved. We'll see what happens with that. We could eject our heat shield, but we have no reason to. SAS is currently off, and that's by design. I want us to tip over when we land. Okay, good. Now SAS goes on to hold us in position. We'll crew report, we'll temperature scan, we'll atmospheric pressure scan, and then we're going to need to have Bob EVA here. And he'll just go ahead and let go. This is an awkward place for him to stand, but okay, sure. We're going to grab an EVA report, and we're going to restore the Science Junior, and we're going to open the service bay. This could get awkward. Well, it's got to happen. Awkward indeed. We're going to walk on over here, and we're going to restore the Mystery Goo containment unit. Perfect. And then we're going to grab a Mystery Goo observation and material study. Cool. We'll collect everything that we can. We'll swap back over to Bob, and we are going to restore the Mystery Goo containment unit and the Science Junior. We are drifting downhill a little bit here. We'll just head over this direction for now. Okay. And actually, we need to be a little closer to interact with the Mystery Goo. There we go. We'll observe that. And we're going to collect that data. And we're going to restore it. And then we're going to come over here. We're going to conduct the material study here. Perfect. And we'll keep that experiment. We will collect that data. And we will restore the Science Junior. Now we're going to need to close the service bay. Hop over here. And this is the hatch. So we need to roll until this is accessible to Bob. About here. Okay. Hold that attitude. Then Bob needs to run on over and hop in. Stop it. Stop it. There we go. Just bonk Bob in the head. Perfect. Okay, Bob. Good job, Bob. Okay. We're going to need to roll this a little further. There we go. I mean, we don't need Bob to get in, but I want him to get in. There we go. And we'll grab our Mystery Goo observation and materials study one last time here. And we'll recover that. So that'll get us a good amount of science there. And we definitely need to continue to scale up that first stage. It's just not quite powerful enough. And this isn't hugely surprising, but it's a little sad. Okay, we got 82.5 science from that. Nice. That's a solid amount of science. That actually allows us to get general construction, which allows us to get struts. Now, we don't have enough to get anything in this tier, but our tech is now at the point where we can get a lot done. So that is great. We're going to immediately scale up these hammers. Those are going to go to thumpers. We'll need this in symmetry mode. There we go. We are, of course, limited on our number of parts, and this is the most number of parts we can have. Unfortunately, we need 2 more parts. Specifically, what we need is strut connectors to connect from, like, here directly into here. But that puts us at 32. So we have to drop 2 parts here. What 2 parts do we want to drop? The obvious ones to me are the winglets. We may definitely have some control issues, but we'll see. I do want to run these engines separately right now. We have plenty of thrust to weight here. We can drop this down. 66% might be good. 1.07. That's a very low thrust to weight. 1.2. 1.21. 1.25 is pretty good. Okay, we'll sit around there, but it is going to be next episode that we will try this variation of the Hopper 3, which we will call Block 3. Excellent. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and next episode, we'll see what we've got in terms of a potential moon flyby. See you all then.